Hey, how's everybody doing today? We had a conversation recently about insurance, the most sexy topic in the whole world. But it came to our attention as we were going through fire season, as people were losing homes or people's policies were getting dropped, that if we were getting questions from our clients about what was going on with insurance, there's probably other people out there in the world that had questions about insurance as well. So we went to the local expert to try to get our questions answered. And in doing that, we thought, why not share that with the whole world so that if you guys have these same questions, you now have the answers for that. So we're blessed today to be here with Aurora Mullett. Tell us a little bit about your background and why you're an expert in the field.
Well, insurance for, now 22 years, and a large majority of it was in sales, but I went and did a stint in underwriting with a company called Nationwide. Most people know Nationwide up here. And eventually, as that grew, we did a lot in regards to fire insurance and fire underwriting down in Southern California. So it was my job to determine what was the fire risk, review a lot of the fire claims to look at what measures can be done to help mitigate some of that loss. And eventually I went back over to the sales side and brought a lot of that knowledge, and it was a natural transition to deal with the high risk homes.
And you got onto our radar because of your social presence, that you're out there sharing information with the community. So we really appreciate you being an asset to our community. So we all know that there are any number of choices out there to get insurance, but what struck me in my conversation with Aurora was that who you work with matters, meaning that just going with the cheapest one doesn't make it the best. So what should we be looking for in an insurance agent?
Mostly it's knowledge. So if you have somebody that has a lot of, I'm not sure about that, or I think that this is how it works, and you can hear that language when you're dealing with an insurance agent. Somebody that is able to quickly answer your questions, know what the contract reads, how it pays out, those are the things that are going to save you a lot of money when it comes to claims. Lowest pricing very rarely translates into the best coverage and the best protection for your family.
So what are some common pitfalls that people might run into when they're going with the lowest rate?
The majority of it is going to be coverage reduction. So the cost here, especially in the wildland areas, is extremely expensive. So what agents will do is they'll start to dwindle down the coverages to try to win that business, thinking, well, it's probably never going to burn down. And then when it does, you have people that are like in the Grizzly area right now that are facing having no coverage for their personal property, having no coverage to live elsewhere in the event of a claim. Those are the impacts that you start to feel when you've chosen the lowest option.
So I know for ourselves, for a personal level, is we were concerned that we were underinsured on the house. So we took a look, or actually Aurora looked at our policy to see if our home happened to burn down, what our replacement cost would be. So walk us through what that looks like.
So we're going to do a cost approach, or what is called a cost approach. It's basically a calculation where we put in the square footage, the type of building materials that are used in the home, and this can fluctuate as the years go through. So building materials change, cost of labor changes, gas changes. All of those things are configured into a replacement cost. So if you did your home 5 years ago and you haven't reviewed it, a lot of cases like in yours, you're almost $100,000 underinsured on your home. Those are great impacts, and that doesn't have anything to do with market value of the home. It has everything to do with the current cost to rebuild. So if you do not review that often, at least once a year, then you can end up having a quick gap of insurance for yourself.
Okay, so it's not about the market value of the home. It truly is what it's going to cost to replace it, and because materials have gone up, the cost to rebuild has gone up, therefore we were underinsured.
And especially after a wildfire, the cost, we call it the jerk factor out there. A lot of vendors know that people are in need. They know that there's a lot of work, and so they start to inflate their costs to rebuild and to help, and that's where a lot of the gaps come in.